oscillator? Research completed. Quartz crystal recipe unlocked. New quartz research available. And that apparently is it. Alright. Well, while I'm here. Biomass burners. Yeah, I should be able to cover this. How much concrete do I... Yeah, lots of concrete. Speaking of biomass... Oh wow. I used all the leaves evenly for once. Can't say the same about the wood though. Okay, so I think the first thing I ought to do is take both miners and turn them off, because they're on by default. So, how to distribute power here? I mean, it moves at the speed of light, so it's not like power's going to get to one miner before it gets to the other one. But I'll need all three biomass burners to connect to the same pole. And then that pole connects to other poles and distributes power throughout the grid. So where are their machines? Okay, so how about this? Each miner has 2 smelters connected to it. Oh, but wait. If I connect the poles to each other, they won't be able to connect to anything else. So maybe just one of them connects to both the power, both the miner and both of its smelters. But the other one doesn't. There's still one left to connect to another power pole. I could put that here where I'm standing. And another power pole in here, maybe? Okay, what's not connected right now? Is it my imagination or... Why is that highlighted? Maybe there's something wrong with it. Hang on a minute. Okay, it looks like it's fine now. I don't know what that was all about. Where did I leave off with these? Oh, here, right. As I said, what's not connected? Well, looks like everything here is. I guess we'll have to work on the other side now. So, it's 3. Put it over here. That's just the extra minor. Well, what's left but the assembler itself? Okay, now what else is not connected? Just these two. There we go. And now there should be like a biomass burner. I ought to be able to put them somewhere, but not in the way of any potential builds for that extra miner. So I'll put it here. Oh, and really the shape's wrong after all that? All right. Box and put it a little bit further down. There we go. All right. That worked. Now for the biomass burners. Where are they all going to fit? One goes here. Here. last one. There. Wire them all up. Like that. Okay. Yeah, that was a pretty big build right there. So I'm going to split this into sets of 100. I'm going to have to race all the way to the other end of the build and turn the miners on. One, two, three. Activating first miner. Activating second miner. And they're digging all right. Going to the smelters. What the? What's going on here? Is this not wired up? Maybe it isn't wired up. But everything else is, so all right, what did I take this off of? Where can this go? There. Okay, so there's one machine that wasn't wired up. Now it is. Let me just double check, make sure everything's running smoothly. Yeah, it looks that way. There's the plates. And over here, there's the screws. And it looks like it's making reinforced iron plates. Let me see if they're going into the box. I know it sounds kind of dumb for me to check that, but yeah, there we go. Now these take some time to make, so wouldn't really surprise me if I had to wait a while. Now it's early on yet, so I'm not going to be seeing anything getting backed up into the boxes like I intended it to. But, well, yeah, this seems to be running. Let's just make sure that nothing is stalled here. Yeah, that's the plates coming out of the plate box. That's the screws coming out of the screw box. What about the screws going into the screw box? Yeah, there we go. Nothing stopped. Of course, nothing's going to be stopped there, but what about in here? Nope, everything's fine. That was a little bit touch and go, but it all seems to work out in the end. There's just so many moving parts here, you know what I'm saying? Now that that's done, what about the rotors? Well, there it's all rods and screws. So all I really need to do is get the ratio to that right or at least, well, by correct, what I mean is get the ratio such that it meets or exceeds the ratio of screws to rods. Now, you need 5 screws and 1 rod for a rotor. I now have, well, I guess it does depend on the rate at which these are produced at. So let's see. Rotors, 20 a minute and 100 a minute. Well, that's certainly going to change things, I guess. Screws come out at 40 a minute. At least I think they do. Yeah, 40 a minute times 4 is 120 a minute. And what was the rods again? 20 a minute. My theoretical build should have them at 30 a minute. Okay. Well, yes, there'll be 2 boxes of rods in the region. Okay, because there's another iron node, and it's pure, and I'm not exactly going to ignore that. I don't think I should ignore this either. That's the dilemma here. I think I could... maybe I'll just put another miner... I'll have to take this whole build down, though, and start over from more or less scratch. Because now, instead of making a screw factory, a rod and screw factory, I'm making a rod, screw, and rotor factory. These nodes may be impure, but that doesn't mean I'm going to ignore them. Off. Oh, wait. I think for the rods you need to actually split them in 3s, but that might mean that I have to aim this a bit differently. I suppose taking everything out up to there is the right thing to do. Now let's build another miner. here. And a smelter. Oh, come on, I had this. I thought I did. Problem is the splitter. Once I split it, there's a lot more land out here. So maybe what I ought to do is make the build point where there's more land. I know this means taking everything down literally, but better in the end. So I suppose I'll have to face it out, this miner, in a different direction, because otherwise it's going to be directly behind this miner. Building the rotor factory was a comedy of errors, where everything that could go wrong did, except for being attacked by a pack of wild hogs. To summarize the process, here are some calculations I did on the back of an envelope. Welcome to Back of the Envelope Calculation Theater. For this factory, I'm going to be using the original iron nodes by the hub. Now those iron nodes are impure, so they only output ore at 30 a minute. But the miners attached to them can output into one smelter a piece instead of two. Now, both smelters are going to output into 2 rod factories apiece, since rod constructors only accept 15 ingots per minute, and they output 15 rods per minute. One of these pairs is going to be combined and put into a box at a rate of 30 a minute. The other one, however, is going to be combined but not put into a box. It'll be split after that, and the output will go to 3 screw constructors. Screw constructors only accept 10 rods a minute, but the combined output of a pair of rod constructors is 30 a minute. The screw constructors output 40 screws a minute apiece. So that's 120 screws a minute being put into, well, another box. Now, the rods and the screws are going to go into a rotor assembler. The rotor assembler takes 20 rods a minute and 100 screws a minute, and outputs 4 rotors a minute, which means that there's going to be extra rods and extra screws to take from the boxes used in this setup. Alright, so let's talk power here. The miners are 5 megawatts apiece. There's 2 of them, so that's 10 megawatts. There are 9 constructors at 4 megawatts apiece. That's 36 megawatts. And there's 1 assembler at the end of all that. That's 15 megawatts. Taken together, 61 megawatts. Just over the limit for 2 biomass plants. We're going to need a third. force plates do I... 139. You know what I ought to do right now? The enhanced asset security. That is finally ready to go. Milestone reached. The Xenobatcher is a direct upgrade from the Xeno Zapper. In the words of the engineer that first developed this tool, the Zapper kinda electrocutes things, the Batcher straight up smacks stuff while also electrocuting. It is beneficial during encounters with aggressive fauna and has been tested thoroughly. The engineer's noble sacrifice for Xeno research will not be forgotten, whoever they were. Gee, thanks.